We give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakak Kudash, double honors to the apostles that rule well. Salutations to the brothers in the four corners of earth pushing this truth and sincerity. And what in sincerity? I got a quick little lesson I want to bring out. The name of this lesson is There's no ounce of benevolence in Esau DNA. There's no ounce of benevolence in Esau DNA. And here's proof, right? So, the proof that we're going to bring is about the untold truth of the Trail of Tears. The untold truth of the Trail of Tears. And we're going to bring out some of the wickedness of Esau, right? And this lesson was inspired by Apostle Ariamla. I saw one of his videos, and he was talking about how Esau don't have no benevolence. All right, so I ran with it, and I found this article right here, and there really is no benevolence in Esau DNA, not at all. He was designed to be the wicked, and he is the wicked of the earth, man. He's the wicked of the earth. Okay, so I'm gonna bring out some plethora of different paragraphs of this article right here, right? And I ain't gonna be too long with it. I'm gonna try to get to the point, right? The story of the actual Trail of Tears is pretty simple. Beginning the 1830s, the Cherokee people were forced from their land by U.S. government. What? Forced from their land by the U.S. government and forced to walk nearly 1,000 miles to a new home in a place they had never seen before. Thousands of people died, but thousands of natives died on the harsh and totally unnecessary journey. It was quite simply one of the worst human rights abuse in American history, man. Wow. Right? But the story around the trail is incredibly complicated. It involves a decade of build-up, dubious treaties, government legislation, Supreme Court cases, and more. The people involved are equally as fascinated, from real and fake Cherokee chiefs to various of presidents to the general in charge of it all. We have gut-wrenching contemporary accounts from Native Americans and soldiers alike. It all comes together to paint a very clear picture of just how something so horrible was allowed to happen. Here are some things we probably didn't learn about the Trail of Tears in school, right? It was all because of gold. Excuse me. It was all because of gold, man. Of course, if historian ever put together a list of reasons for a terrible atrocity, right near the top would be gold. Everyone's favorite shiny thing, and has caused people to straight up lose their minds for centuries. You can't wipe entire societies off the map as long as you get enough of the stuff. So it was with the very beginning of the Trail of Tears in 1829, the Georgia newspaper announced a ton of gold has been found in the state. The northern part of Georgia has been set aside from the Cherokee Nation, but that didn't put off sorry, uh, pers- spectators with dollar signs in their eyes, right? They poured into the area by the thousands, and one participant, written decades later, said people came from every state, many on foot, and that they acted more like a crazy man than anything else. Even at the time, it was known as the Great Intrusion. The Native American were in these newcomers' way, right? So-called white man. There was in a so-called white man way, right? And they were treated like trash because of it. But so much worse will come as a result. The speculators looking to get rich off their land started demanding that the government do something about these pesky natives. Less than a year after gold was discovered, President bitch ass Andrew Jackson signed the Indian Removal Act, which led directly to the Trail of Tears. Right? Then, at almost the exact time, the last Cherokee was removed on the trail, and the gold ran out. Wow, unbelievable. They got kicked out and the gold ran out. So they could have stayed in their land because there wasn't no gold there, right? Or the gold ran out, as the article say, right? Andrew Jackson was absolutely despicable. What it said? Andrew Jackson was all absolutely despicable. Bitch ass motherfucker right here. According to the official Cherokee Nation website, Andrew Jackson probably owed his life to 500 Cherokees who came to his aid during a battle in 1814. He was hurt, and the natives still helped his bitch ass out, still helped this devil out. He would spend the rest of his days being furious about that. So he was hot because the natives helped him out, right? He owed his life to 500 Cherokees, man, right? Who came to his aid during a battle in 1814. He would spend the rest of his days being furious about that. Proud ass dude, man. Proud ass Edomite, man. PBS said Jackson called Native Americans children in need of guidance. And in his version of guidance was trying to kill them all. He started in 1814 when he commanded a force against the Creek. Then he attacked the Seminoles in 1818 over a decade. He was the guy negotiating 9 out of 11 treaties with the U.S. that completely screwed the Native Americans over. They completely screwed the Native Americans over, man. As president, he pushed through the Indian Removal Act. Then the Supreme Court ruled for the Cherokee in a case, but he just ignored it because screw checks and balances, if it meant being decent to Native people about North Georgia, tells us that as a rumor of forced removal swirled, a delegation of worried Cherokee came to see him in Washington, and he had the gall to tell them, right? You shall remain in your ancient land as long as a grass grows and water runs. But he lied. This bitch ass motherfucker lied. Even old and out of power, he didn't let up. With a small policy change, made the second stage of the Trail of Tears a tiny bit less awful for the Indians. He was absolutely furious, but fortunately, he wasn't president anymore. So he could do was yield or yelled about it. Sorry. So all he could do was yell about it, right? So look at this right here. The Native American absolutely could not win. Cherokee removal, Memorial Park. Look at this, Yesharala. Look at this. Fucking devils, man. Right. All right. I was gonna fast forward it just a little bit. All right. Let me see if I can read this real quick. While the term Trail of Tears is generally only used to refer to the force of removal of the Cherokee, they were not the only Native Americans that the government evicted during the 1830s, but not by a long shot, according to Encyclopedia Britannica. About 100,000 people would be kicked out of their homes, and 15,000 of them would die going west. Damn, it's a lot of people. Most of them belonged to the Cherokee Creek, Choctaw, right? and the Seminole tribes, right? These tribes try absolutely everything to get the Johnny come lately Americans to like them. PBS says they were known as the five civilized tribes because they embrace a lot of white people stuff in the hopes of being accepted. Right. This includes things like large scale farming and Western education style, and some even took up owning slaves. Instead, this made their white neighbors even more pissed off. Once the Indian Removal Act was signed, these tribes all took different approach to dealing with it. Some offered to leave their land voluntarily, while others went to war with the U.S. For years in an attempt to stay put. The Cherokee drew up a constitution based on the USA to prove their rights and even use the Supreme Court to their advantage, winning a major case in their favor, but they never had a chance. No matter what the tribes did, the result was the same, and it accumulated in the Trail of Tears. So no matter what they did, they adopted the white man ways and so on. And no matter what you did, man, this so-called white man is a devil that the Bible speak of. You can't charm this devil, right? You cannot charm him at all. This is uh this is Psalms 58, starting at 1. Do you indeed speak righteousness, O congregation? Do you judge uprightly, O ye sons of men? Yea, in the heart ye work wickedness, yea, weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. So soon this motherfucker come out his mother pussy, this dude is wicked and speaking lies. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stopped her ear, which would not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely. Right? So you can't charm this devil, man. There's no way. You can't charm him at all, man. Right? And you try to please him and try to adopt his ways and so on, he's still gonna backstab you. He know that y'all the Israelites. He don't give a fuck about you, no matter how much you cooperate with this damn devil. Right? You see what happened with what was that? Trayvon Martin, I believe. Eric Gardner, right? Who else? George Floyd. Right? You see what happened to these men. Was that who else? And the list goes on. Castillo, right? And the list goes on, man. Right? So no matter what you do, you can't please this devil. You can't charm him. Right? He is the devil. Right? So let me read a little bit more. Let's go. So your brothers and sisters could take a look at this article over here, man. It's real. It's very informative. Very, very, very informative. Okay. I'll start right here. And of course, it didn't work out anywhere near a nicely and General Scott envisioned. Contemporary accounts reveal horrific abuse. One Cherokee who was subjected to the horror later wrote about what happened and sent his writing to the U.S. Bureau of Indian Affairs. Even before they started walking on the trail, it was horrible, especially if people didn't go willingly. For these soldiers were sent by Georgia, right, and the Cherokee were gathered up and driven at the point of beyond it into camp with the others. They were not allowed to take any of their household stuff, but were compelled to leave as they were. with only the clothes which they had on. One very old man asked the soldiers to allow him time to pray once more. With his family, see how spiritual these people were? To pray once more with his family in the dear old home before he left it forever. The answer was with a brutal oath. No, no, no time for prayers. Go. In the same time, giving him a rude push toward the door. Indians were evicted. The whites, the Edomites, entered, taking full possession of everything left. Damn, it's fucked up. Once they got underway, things got worse. It was winter, and most Cherokee had inadequate clothes and blankets. They were herd like cattle, whipped to go faster, and they died by the thousands for exposure, malnutrition, exhaustion, and diseases. One soldier who was there called it the most brutal order in history of American Edomite so-called white man warfare, saying the sufferings of the Cherokee on the Trail of Tears were awful and that it was straight up murder. Right? This one right here is the fort, where even worse than the trail. As soon as the Indian Removal Act was signed in 1830, forts were built from Georgia to what what is now Oklahoma that would house the Indians along their journey. You notice this was 8 years before the trail began, and even 5 years before the Treaty of the New Chata. But about North Georgia says that's because the government absolutely knew what was coming, even if they played dumb when the Cherokee actually asked them about it. This was basically a concentration camp, and if anything, life was even worse in them than on the actual trail itself. According to the Insides America's concentration camp, 2 centuries of internment and torture. They were dangerously overcrowded with small forts holding hundreds of Cherokees at a time. People died every single day thanks to the primitive condition. Many died from the same disease and malnutrition that was killing people when they were walking, but a lot saw no way out of the horror and committed suicide. Soldiers guarding the fort were epic bastards, as if the Cherokee didn't already have inadequate food, clothes, and blankets, and guards stole what little they did have with them. Many also repeatedly violated women and children, along with making them and the Cherokee men perform absolutely unmentionable acts of the depravity. Right? Look this up right here. So, white man is the devil that the Bible speak of. Right?
Depravity.
Depravity, right? It means moral corruption and wickedness. So they was doing moral corruption, right, on these women and in these children, man. They was popping these little children, man, raping them, right? Man, pull out of your
Depravity.
right.
Depravity.
Depravity, right? So that's the white man, that's the so-called white man MO, right? There's a lot of blood that was shed on this land, and this blood is required. As number 33 say, right? I think it's number 33. Let me get that real quick. This is Numbers 35:33. Do not pollute the land where you are. Bloodshed pollutes the land, and the atonement cannot be made for the land on which the blood has been shed, except by the blood of the one who shed it. That's right. So we need your blood, Esau. We don't want your reparation. We don't want your apologies. We want your blood. Do not defile the land where you live and where I dwell, for I, Yahweh, dwells among the Israelites. Who Yahweh dwells among? He dwells among the Israelites. And that's the NIV. This is Numbers 35, 33 through 34. All right. So right here, it said perform absolutely unmentionable acts of depravity. Right? That's it. That's it. So yeah, brothers and sisters, if you have the chance, man, look at and read this article right here, man. All right, read this article, the untruth, the untold truth of the trail of tears, man. All right, this is Psalms 55, 20 through 23. He has put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him. He has broken his covenant. The word of his mouth was smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His word was softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. Right? So cast that burden upon Yahweh, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. Right? Yapa. This is Psalms 36, verse 4. He divides mischief upon his bed. He setteth himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil. What? He abhorreth not evil. This dude love evil, man. He don't go to bed without thinking about a diabolical idea, man. Right? How he could further oppress us, right? And bring unrighteous decrees upon the Israelites, man. Right? How to kill us off even quicker, right? This man is the devil. How many times I gotta say it? Right? This is Micah 2, 1 through 2. Right? Micah 2, 1 through 2. This is Century King James Version. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of the hand. They covet fields, and they take them by violence, and houses, and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. And that's exactly what he did, man. Took over our lands, right? Looking for gold. When that gold ran out, we still was kicked out of our land, and that's how we end up in the Trail of Tears, man. Right? That's how we end up in the Tears of Trails. Right? Let me see. I'm sorry, the Trail of Tears, so like it. All right, this is Zechariah 11 verse 5. Who's a possessor slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them say, Blessed be Yahweh, for I am rich, and their own shepherd pity them not. All right, come. All right, well, Esau, because when you talk to these Edomite children out here, they say y'all have nothing to do with me. Hey, but uh, you are the fathers that was back then, right? You come back every three or fourth generation, right? It's a prepared slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. And you got to take over that tab. You got a bill that you got to pay, right? And that bill is your blood. That's how you pay that tab, by your blood, Esau children. All right. Okay. This is Proverbs 24, the good news translation. Don't be envious of evil people, and do not try to make friends with them. Causing trouble is all they ever think about. That's right, causing trouble is all they ever think about. Every time they open their mouth, someone is going to be hurt, right? Then they open their mouth with the trails and tears. Yes, a lot of our people died, right? Homes are built on the foundation of wisdom and understanding, where there is knowledge. The room are furnished with valuable, beautiful things. Being wise is better than being strong. Yes, knowledgeable. is more important than strength. After all, you must walk careful plans before you fight a battle. And more good advice you get, the more likely you are to win. Wise saying are too deep for a stupid people to understand. They have nothing to say when important matters are being discussed. All right, one more. If you are always planning evil, this is Esau, he always planning evil, you will earn a reputation as a troublemaker, right? Yeah, he's a troublemaker, he's a devil. Any scheme a fool thinks up is sinful. People hate a person who has nothing but scorn for others. If you are weak in a crisis, you are weak indeed. So that's right. So that's why Esau is hated. So any scheme a fool thinks up is a sinful person. So the so-called white man is a sinful person, and people hate a person who has nothing but scorn for others. And that's why we hate you, Esau. And that's why we hate you. That's why the whole world hates you. That's why the whole world hates you, man. All right? Because you bring nothing but rape, rob, murder, and you bring atrocity on earth, man. That's why the whole world hates you, man. Death to you, death to your whole race, death to America, death to the two-thirds, and death to these flaming fairies, man. I'll see you on the next video. Shalom Barakatah B'Shem Shah.